Hello, Virgo. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. And my apologies for being late. I have not been feeling the greatest, and please forgive my voice, you guys, but thank you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, Virgo, shine bright like a candle, and then you have to be fair. I looked at this and immediately thought that's bullshit. I mean, this is basically saying that nobody is going to try to make things right with you. Nobody is going to be wanting to make amends if things have been unfair. This is about Virgo needing to do what's necessary now to create balance. Shine bright like a candle is talking about you bouncing back from a difficult time in your life right now. It talks about resilience. To be fair is talking about balance and justice. It is the justice card, basically. It also talks about the law of cause and effect. You know, you reap what you sow. But in this case, with the protection message, it very strongly indicates that Virgo is going to have to stand up for themselves right now and do something that, may not be what you wanted to do. All right, Virgo, here we go. Here is your overall, the Chariot. Okay. So with the Chariot being the overall here, we could be talking about traveling, you going to meet someone, someone coming to meet you, but it's willpower and self-control, right? And picking up the pace here, getting momentum going. Victory comes up with the Chariot. For some of you, you may be in a place where you're feeling like you're being pulled in two different directions, right? Lack of self-control would be the opposite, but we'll see here with the Chariot. In the past, the King of Wands, okay. So with the King of Wands being the past, we could be talking about a person here coming back from the past. You got fire going on, could be male or female, but normally we're talking about, somebody where there's a lot of attraction, right? That's just how it goes with the fire signs. But this could also be talking about you taking action towards something here with the Chariot, or somebody else is doing this and wanting to pick up the pace or get something moving, right? I don't want to judge him just yet, so we'll see here. Oh my God, in the present, the King of Coins. Okay. This looks very similar to a Gemini reading I did, I think about a year ago, and it's funny how I still remember that reading. They had the Chariot as the overall, but the initial feeling was, where are you going? Now, for some of you, you may be changing your direction. Now, if we're talking about you with these kings showing up, first of all, we're talking about wisdom, right? But with the King of Wands, we're talking about a passion, seeking a new adventure, definitely doing that with the Chariot, but then becoming like established with the King of Coins. Success comes up with him, right? For some of you, it's two different people. You have one in the past and you have one in the present who may be a little bit more dependable. Now, if this is about the same person, they're not acting the same way anymore. But we'll see what's going on here. But a quick change of direction could be what's going on here, especially with the Chariot. Oh, Virgo. Oh, these readings, I don't know what's happening. Holy shit. With Two of Cups in future conditions. Yeah, I would say that maybe some of you are shifting like your direction here. If this is about two different people, with the Two of Cups, we're talking about the relationship, right? But it could be any relationship, but it's the connection between two people, I almost feel like for some of you, you may be dealing with a long distance relationship. It's almost like, if we're talking about the same person, because I'm looking at the King of Wands and the King of Coins, because sometimes we deal with people who completely change. And sometimes we deal with people who go through, midlife crisis, right? So they're like two different people, but it's the same person. So if that's what we're talking about here, the King of Wands in the past, the man of passion, the man of action here, but this is wanting to follow through now with the King of Pentacles or the King of Coins, because I feel okay about him. I have my issues with the King of Pentacles. If you've ever seen the recent Scorpio readings, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't necessarily feel bad about him, because it leads to a connection with the Two of Cups, an understanding, a really good partnership. But like I said, if it's about two different people, Virgo, you're changing directions really quickly here. Interesting. It's interesting. Oh, and there you go. Your best path to follow, justice. All right. So now, with this being your best path to follow, and this is big for you, you want to make sure that, if you're picking up pace here with a partnership, you want to make sure things are fair and balanced. You don't want to do anything that is going to cause any kind of imbalance in your life, especially if you've experienced that before. Now, unfortunately, for some of you, you may have been through a really difficult time. It may require you to seek legal action for sure with justice. And that could be separation, divorce, and, things like needing to take somebody to court in order to get money paid back. You know how that goes, right? If the King of Wands is someone from the past, this is where, unfortunately, some of you may have been in a difficult situation. If we're looking at the King of Coins in the present being somebody new, this is we're correcting the situation from the past and we're moving forward very quickly on a very different partnership. And it could just be that, with the King of Coins here, this is somebody who can provide you with, like something better in terms of work or career, right? Like this is somebody that can help you get a project started. For some of you, that this is going to have to do with love. But with justice, we have to fix a past situation is what I feel like. But, if you're willing to go the distance here, so to speak, with the Chariot, then yeah, we want to make sure that you're doing the right thing, right? And it's funny because I talk about justice and justice ruling Libra, fairness and balance in relationships being the 7th house. In your environment, the 9 of Coins. And it's not bad. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Like having somebody come through that has maybe some financial wisdom here and it ends up being a really good partnership. Some of you are very financially secure and independent right now, and travel comes up with the Chariot, right? Like I'm looking at all of this and it looks really good, but we're also talking about, somebody who's wanting to remain independent. Now, it's still showing up as a very good partnership though here in future conditions. But this could be somebody who is very financially secure, right? Maybe more secure than that King of Wands, and in order to gain some freedom or some independence, you have to take a different direction here with the King of Wands in order for there to be, that 2, not 3 people, just 2, better partnership for some of you. No, this though could be, and this is only going to be for some of you getting involved with somebody that doesn't really want to be in a relationship, but it ends up that way with the 2 of Cups. Wow, man. All right. Your hopes and your fears, the 10 of Wands. So I don't think that this has to do with responsibility. I just think that there is like maybe the fear of being pressured to commit, especially if you're the one who is independent here, or if we're talking about the other person. It's almost like having somebody come through and say, well, I can give you this, I can provide you with this, but you're like, oh, honey, I'm fine on my own, But again, you lead into this understanding, but there may be like, some pressure that's being built up with the 10 of Wands. You don't want to pressure somebody. You don't want to feel pressured, especially if commitment is involved and if there is distance between you and another person. But this is big for some of you, really big. But I'm looking at justice and I'm thinking you have to do what feels right for you, But any kind of burdens that may be involved in a partnership, I think the fear there is that we're not going to be able to handle that. You know what I mean? And then you have the Page of Swords. Okay. And I don't necessarily feel bad about it. I just think that, if you still have somebody from the past that you're dealing with, this is something that definitely has to be taken care of because they may be butting their nose in where it doesn't belong. And I worry about that with the Page of Swords. But then the other part of that, though, too, is if you're having a new connection and you're needing to get closure on something else, This may be, needing to kind of discuss some things with, someone new that you may be talking to, whether it's relationship or business, right? But I feel like something else has to be taken care of. The Nine of Cups with the World, what you want is to have closure. You want to have a new beginning. You want to see that completion of that cycle so you can experience something completely different, brand new, right? Always successful with the World, even if it's in the reverse or just needing to take the next steps to get there, right? But I kind of look at the Nine of Cups with the King of Wands and think for some of you, this is what I wanted. But maybe your wishes are being fulfilled in a much different way. But there is still, with the Nine of Swords, overthinking things, fear and anxiety that's kind of coming through that may be preventing you from like closing an issue that may have been created by somebody else, right? Where every time you try to move forward in another partnership, it's hard to get past that. Like, I kind of get that for some of you, like all the shit that's going on in your mind. But for a lot of you, you've had to find your security and your independence, and it may be that it's not something that you're willing to give up. You don't need a savior. You don't need somebody to come in and rescue you. That's not what you want. But I do think that, like I said, with the Page of Swords, we have some questions for this person, this partner, whether it's romantic or business. We need some answers here. You may have a couple of questions because you certainly don't want to get involved with what you have before. But the thing is I'm still looking at you doing what's right to create fairness and balance in your life, even if it means getting involved in a different relationship where things may be long distance. But with the World, we're completing out shit from the past. It's over. It's done with. But you're going to have to do what's necessary to get that kind of closure, especially if you didn't get exactly what you wanted from someone before, but you have something different coming through, And that may only be for some of you. And then you have the Heart of the Matter. There's more going on than meets the eye. Recognize what this is all about, and getting down to the heart of the matter may have to do with the Page of Swords, especially if there are some details that you may have some anxieties over, right? Because, as far as like signing contracts and shit, whenever the Page of Swords shows up, you have to pay attention to everything, all the fine print. But as far as relationship here, you can't overthink this. You have to embrace the way that you're feeling right now, especially if you're feeling really good about a connection, despite what you may have been through before. But there's more going on here than I think what you understand. But I don't see it as a bad thing, right? Like, I still look at Virgo having a really, really good time here at the last part of February. You may be, one of the few here that's actually going to make the connection that you're supposed to make. Again, whether it's romantic or business. But, you look perfect, right? And it's interesting to me because look at the Chariot. You know what I'm saying? It's like these two opposing forces are finally coming together now in harmony, right? I love it. I think it's great. But I wouldn't overthink what you think may be going on behind the scenes. But I think that as far as the heart of the matter, there may be more here than what you understand in terms of the way that you feel, but you have to embrace those emotions first. But I like it, Virgo. I really do, especially for those of you who are switching gears here when it comes to your partnerships and relationships.